Hello everyone. So in today's video I want to talk about the glorification of life, um, especially human life here on earth, and why I think it's a problem and why it bothers me so much. And first off, I want to say that I think it's probably, common or usual that our personal uh, take on or perspective on uh, life, as in our life, our personal life, always also influences our view on life or existence, maybe in general, and our perspective and opinion on life in general, of course, also influences our how we feel about our own life as an individual human. Yeah, so I just think that the line between, personal individual life and life in general is very blurry in the minds and the subconscious and so on of most people, and that's probably something we kind of have to accept in this context and maybe keep in mind. But other than that, let's get started on the topic. So, as an anti-natalist myself, I often wonder why so many people seem to have this assumption that any kind of life or existence is somehow better or more valuable than non-existence or non-life, right? It's like there are so many ways in which human beings try to justify why, even in a world where there is so much suffering and pain, life as a whole or in general is like a good thing, something that needs to be preserved in any case, and furthermore, that should not even be, you know, prevented, as in the minds of many people, for example, abortion is wrong in any case, right? Um, so what I wonder, why are we never asking ourselves the question in a, maybe in a pretty unsentimental way, what if life and or a specific life maybe just isn't worth living? Like, why do we assume that any life is worth living and that life experience or being alive is always a good thing, no matter what the actual content of life experiences are, no matter how traumatic or bad life can get? Why is there always this justification of why we should always focus more on the beauty and the positive possibilities of life instead of all the ways it can be cruel and horrible? And furthermore, if you even dare to ask questions like the one I just did, what if life just isn't worth living, um, you are automatically made out to be, by many people, made out to be, mentally ill or severely depressed, right? When in reality you are just trying to have a philosophical and maybe more, in some ways also more rational approach to weighing the pros and cons of life, right? um, so, but that being said, as a spiritual person, I also, of course, have an answer to the thing, or the idea why we are supposed to, or often made to feel like we're supposed to focus on the positive. Of course, that's because most of us in the spiritual community, like me, believe that we, reinforce and are more likely to manifest positive things when we focus on them and appreciate them. Yeah. So that, of course, is one of the answers why people tend to want to see the possibilities of life as inherently positive and a good thing, as opposed to, well, what possibilities actually mean, right? The possibilities of there are the possibilities of greatest joy and celebration and the possibility of suffering horribly and losing your mind, for example, and not in a good way. And I think another important question in this context, of course, when we talk about, let's say, the quality of individual lives, because in the end, that's kind of what this whole question boils down to for me. No matter if we talk on an individual level or a, let's say, collective level, right? It's the question about how many lives are worth living in general. If we talk about the collective level, how much joy maybe is there in this world and has there been in this world, as opposed to how much horrible suffering has been going on in the world, which is a question that I don't know if I could correctly answer that, because of course my world is also a reflection of my beliefs, but as I have perceived the world and learned about the world also growing up, there has been so much more horrible stuff going on throughout all of history than there have been truly, I don't know, amazing achievements and happy people, right? And fair and kind societies. So, yeah, and when it comes down to the individual level, of course, the question is who gets to decide whether a life, so whether your life, for example, is worth living. And the answer can, of course, only be the person living that life, right? And that's also something that is not accepted as a obvious truth in society, right? Because when somebody utters that they don't think that their life is worth living, right? People tend to respond in wanting to help them, right? Like trying to make them feel like and see a lot of reasons that they should keep on living and that their life actually isn't that horrible, or that even if it is horrible, it's still deeply valuable and meaningful and must be continued at any price, basically. Which kind of leads us to another question that's also, connected to all of this topic, I think, which is the question, why is life glorified and death vilified, right? Why is there still such a negative connotation when to everything that's, connected to death or dying? As if it's really a bad thing that life ends at some point, and not something that you could consider something that massively contributes to even making life meaningful, and also can be a great relief for many people. So whether you already know me, as in you've maybe seen any of my other videos, or whether you didn't, now you probably have figured it out that my take or my philosophy on it is that I'm all about the elevation, or rather favorably the the ending of all suffering, as opposed to the preservation of life. And so in any case, right, of course I'm not saying that people who truly love their lives should, or just anyone who doesn't agree with it should have their life taken from them by anyone else. Of course, that's not a real option. But what I'm trying to say is that it's one of those many areas of life where individual autonomy is really ranked very low, as opposed to um, yeah, whatever society wants you to do and wants you to be for them. Yeah, so for me personally, it's precisely the what I would call arbitrariness of life in general, that make me feel like life might not actually be worth living. As in, practically almost everything is possible, and only slightly different choices, thoughts, or emotions can make such a huge difference that it's just not adequate for me in life. But that's a whole other topic. And I just think that playing the game of life, so to speak, is very risky and not something that should lightly regard as something good or innately positive. And it's also a risk that you shouldn't object others to if you don't have to. Meaning, for example, if you choose to bring children into this world, then at least to some extent, I think you are also responsible for whatever suffering they will have to go through all of the rest of their lives, because without you, they wouldn't even be here. Yeah, I think that's it for today. I mean, I'm sure I could come up with a lot of more questions and ideas to talk about that are all linked to this topic somehow. I mean, hello, um, life value and quality and meaning of life, of course, is a very broad topic, right? So I'm going to keep it at that for today. And as always, feel free to leave a comment, let me know what you think about any of this. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a like or subscribe to my channel. And till the next time, bye.